I'm Melanie, and you're watching Yarn Journeys. I am a knitter, a spinner, and a sometimes sewist, and I live in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. This is going to be a very quick and sweet episode about my recent trip to the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. It's held the last weekend in September every year in Berryville, Virginia. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate that great. It was a bit rainy, a bit muddy, but nonetheless, a fun time was to be had by all knitters and spinners and fiber crazed people like myself. So, with no further ado, let's head out to Berryville and see what fun there is to be had at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. So here's my plan. We're gonna go see the animals first because I remember from last year that towards the afternoon on Sunday, the animals are largely gone. So let's go have some furry fun. These Angora goats were just so adorable. And of course there were some sheep. Hey cuties. Can you hear the alpacas humming? The fluffy Angora rabbits were so cute. Underhill Farm puts the names of the Angora goats the farmyard comes from on the label. Fiber and yarn shoppers enjoyed the show despite the rain. It's always fun to check out the raw fleeces available for sale. Okay, it's time to go. It's raining, but I got around to seeing everything, and I got some stuff. So, let's hope I make it out of the car park okay. I'm sure I will. Just a nagging concern. That is looking a bit yucky, but I guess that is a rainy fiber festival for you. So let's dive into the goodie bag, shall we? So first up is some amazing DK weight merino wool yarn from Simple Hill Farm in Virginia. This yarn is their arpeggio, and it is in mushroom gray, which is natural color. It is a blend of the brown and white versions of merino that they have there at Simple Hill Farm. And I just think this is a beautiful color. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoops. Yes. Oh, well, let's just say I got a whole heap of the mushroom gray natural color. And I also got two colors of their Concord purple. I hope you can see the hue well in the light from the window. It is a really sort of just nice purple, pretty color. Simple Hill Farm dyes their wool, which is spun at Green Mountain Spinnery, with only natural plant dyes. So this Concord purple is dyed with logwood. I am so excited to have found this this source of yarn. I first saw it last year at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, and I've been really wanting to get a sweater quantity of this wool. Now, what is my plan for it? I have had my eye on a pullover by Ukrainian designer Teti. It is the Between Flowers pullover, which is in a DK weight. I believe that the original pattern is for 2 strands of Istex Einband, so that's the fingering weight version of Icelandic wool. Well, this lovely merino, it's like, it almost feels like it still has some of the lanolin in it. It's so soft. Anyway, this will be, let's just say I am way looking forward to wearing a pullover in this lovely soft merino more than I would in Icelandic wool. I realize I'm casting some shade on Icelandic wool, but I just find that stuff itchy AF. Anywho, there's more goodies in my goodie bag. In my goodie bag is a bag for goodies. I did pick up a project bag. And what I like about this is that it's nice. It's a sweater size. It is got a drawstring closure and a zipper here for things like needles and notions and so forth, as well as a fun tribute to the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. But when you pull on the drawstring, it can also be a backpack. So I think this will be a super useful project bag for so many things. Or when you're traveling, when you're taking your knitting, but your hands need to be carrying other things. So glad to add this to my fleet of project bags. But wait, there's more. So I'd originally planned not to buy any more spinning fiber because I got a lot of it and I'm still working my way through. But I have to say that Angel Locks Fiberworks is kind of my kryptonite. They're gradient rovings that are wound into these center pull formulations. They are just so pretty. Just look at that. It is just, they just call to me saying, please take me home. You can hear that, right? You can hear them sing. Or is it just me? I don't know. So I got this one, and apologies for the crinkles. I also got that one. Well, so that you spin from that part, you pull forward. So you start with the light and eventually get to the dark. But what I am thinking is that these two together would really go nicely with each other in some way. So I am glad that I probably won't see Angel Locks Fiberworks again, I think, until Maryland Sheep and Wool next spring. Otherwise, I probably would buy one of these guys in every colorway they had. But it's such soft, lovely Corriedale roving. Ever since I saw Terapin Fiberworks at the Frederick Fiber Fest last spring, I have been really curious about their plant fiber. Now, I have a sister who is allergic to wool, but she is very knit-worthy. So I got this beautiful skein of lupine colorway sock yarn. It is Terapin Fiberworks Anacostia sock. So I also like the fact that their colorways are named for things that are local to the DC area, the Anacostia River being one of the rivers that runs right through DC. This is a really interesting sock yarn because let me tell you what it's made out of. It is made out of tencel, organic cotton, and elastic. So the thing everyone hates about sock yarn that's made with cotton or cotton yarns in general is that it can be very hard on your hands when you're knitting. But this has got, let's see here, just a little bit of stretch to it, just a little bit. And so I'm really curious to knit some cotton socks with this beautiful Anacostia sock yarn from Terapin Fiberworks. I also believe they're going to be at Woolen Folk at New York Sheep and Wool in Rhinebeck this year. So if I've got that right, please be sure to check them out. Their plant-based yarns are just gorgeous, and I am in love with their tencel, and I'm thinking about what I might make with that someday. What else is in my goodie bag? Yes. This is a skein of Cozy Colorworks hand-dyed super wash merino. The colorway is called Brightside, and this yarn is specifically made for assigned pooling. So what that is that when I was there at the festival, they had a shawl on display, and the way you knit it is each time you get to one of the colored sections, you have a different stitch that you're supposed to do just for that colored part of the yarn. I first got curious about this is that a few weeks ago I ran into someone who was knitting Laurie Barker's Murder of Crows pattern. Uh, and it was super beautiful. And the woman who was knitting it told me all about the assigned pooling patterns that Laurie Barker puts out. So I'm excited to give that a try with this beautiful skein of gray and red from Cozy Colorworks. I think this is going to be lots of fun. And the last thing I have to show you from the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival is something I thought was super special. It is not for knitting, but for sewing. The vendor is called Stick It To Me, and they are fairly new. It is a pincushion, and I just loved how delightfully gaudy this thing is. So let me show you. So it opens up, and this is essentially a felted part of a fiber ball that has been put into the bottom. And so you can stick your pins in there. And then the bottom is magnetic. So you can kind of, pick up your pins by putting them on, if you have a whole bunch of random pins on a flat surface, you can just pick up your pins using the magnet. Plus, what I particularly like is I have a bad habit of remembering to bring my pin cushion from where I've pinned up my pieces to be sewn with me to the sewing machine so that as I am sewing and I'm pulling out pins, they just kind of end up all over the place. So I can keep my my pin cushion with the, on the table where I'm pinning the pieces. I can have the lid next to my sewing machine to collect the pins as I pull them out while I'm sewing. I just think this is so cool and ingenious use of felted wool, and it's just pretty and fun. There are all kinds of designs. There were ones that looked like cones, ones that look like flower pots. As I said, the vendor is called Stick It To Me, and I think these are so much fun. Well, that's all I have to show you from the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. So I am so excited to tell you that I have a plan to go to another fiber festival this fall in the coming weeks, and it is not Rhinebeck. It's also not on the East Coast. So I am super psyched to discover new hand dyers and yarn makers and uh, spinning fiber vendors that I don't typically see uh, here in the Mid-Atlantic where I live. It is within the United States, however, and it is not on the West Coast. Am I piquing your curiosity? So here's a clue as to where I am headed. Oftentimes, when you order your food in a restaurant there, they'll ask, do you want it with red, green, or Christmas? Do you know where I'm headed? Put it in the comments below. Also, I have an international trip planned later this fall where I will get to go to 3 countries in Europe. You will want to stay tuned. More clues about that trip coming soon.